Everybody, oh my God, I got a sister on the channel that I've been looking forward to hearing her talk about what she gonna talk about, because it's one of them holidays that we really trying to make a national holiday where it's recognized. To what extent, I'm not sure she's gonna address that, but what she gonna talk about, you gonna like, and some of what she gonna say, I know you don't know. You know, I'm Anthony Brogdon, and this is what I do. I find these people who know what they're talking about, and they ready to tell these stories on strong inspirations. I'm so excited I couldn't sleep last night, ready to get this on. I had heard about her, and finally I got a telephone number, and I called, and she said, let's make it happen, young man. And when you call me young man, I love it. So on Strong Inspirations, I want you to hit the subscribe button so that I know you like it, and it don't cost you no money. You don't give no information. All you do is hit the button. I want you to like this video because you're going to really appreciate what she's got to tell you, some Black history and how we trying to recognize it nationally. Like I said earlier, I want you to hit the notifications bell. So when the video come, when I post them videos, and I'm doing 4 or 5 a week, you get a ding saying there's a new video on Strong Inspirations, where we give it to you straight, no chaser. And then what I want you to do, my brothers and sisters, is tell, excuse me, tell somebody about Strong Inspirations. Tell them, let this thing blow up. So a lot of people will be talking about, man, we don't know our history, that we don't tell it, people don't tell it. Man, I don't know about all what they don't do, but I know what we are doing on the channel, and that's we giving it to you right here from the people who know, right? The other thing I want you to do on a personal note is watch my movie. It's titled Business in the Black, The Rise of Black Business in America. And we talk about, in this film, what she's going to talk about, Juneteenth. We also talk about slaves who went to college and what them racists did to destroy Black business districts and Black millionaires in the 1800s. All that's in my film, along with some interviews of people whose family owned the business in the early 1900s. I found them. I found people like the sons and daughters of a Black-owned cemetery that was started in 1925. Black cab company and all that kind of, barber shops and all that kind of stuff is in my film. And it's streaming on Amazon. So that's the DVD case. If you don't have a DVD player, you can just watch it on your cell phone, your laptop, your watch, or your smart TV and all them things. And then I wrote the book, Black Business Book, which has over 200 facts. 200 facts of Black history. Covers just like what the movie does, but it's got more stuff. I list maybe 15, 20 Black business organizations, the Black lawyers, doctors. I list all the fraternities and sororities, all the HBCUs, probably 30 Black-owned banks is all in my book. All right. And I want you to get a copy of that. And if you do, I'm so happy you will, that I'll autograph it for you. And that, that might mean something one day, because I'm rocking, I'm rolling. And strong is my keyword. And strong stands for strength, tenacity, resilience, and a sense of oneness, nobility, and grace. And I got a strong sister that's coming on right now. Come on, sister, introduce yourself. Tell us a little about who you are.
Good morning. My name is Dee Evans. I am the Vice Chair and the National Communications Director for the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation. I am also President and founder of Juneteenth, Nevada, here in Las Vegas. I've been with the national organization for a little bit under 20 years, and we are promoting education as well as getting the holiday bill passed to recognize Juneteenth, which is June 19th, 1865. We wanted to recognize as a national holiday. We are currently in the House and the Senate for recognition with Senate bill is S-475, House bill is HR 1320. We are asking everyone to reach out to their representatives to be co-sponsor the two bills so that when June 19th of 2021 comes out, we will have a new national holiday on level with the 4th of July. We were not free on 1776. However, we do say that 1865, when Juneteenth freedom came along, we completed the cycle of freedom.
Now, let me ask you this. How you like doing this? How you get, I mean, what, you a historian or something? Or you like Black history? What about you?
I like history, but 20 years ago, I knew nothing about Juneteenth. It absorbs it and comes into you.
Now, you know, there's a lot of things that you can pick up on. How did you use this as the one thing that commit your life to so well?
I started out, well, I've got 6 grandchildren and 3 great-grands. I want them to be in a different world than I'm in.
Okay.
I started off with genealogy. Studying, my grandfather told me to find the family history, research it, and pass it on. So I took that up to about 2,500 members within the family tree. From there, I went into working with God's Gang in Chicago, which is food sustainability, that they were teaching the children how to grow their food and tilapia fish.
Okay.
That led me into teaching part-time at a special program at the South Shore Entrepreneurial High School.
Okay.
And through that, I learned, I got a chance to meet Lestine Byers, who obtained the Illinois bill for Juneteenth. And when I moved to Las Vegas, she recommended me to Dr. Ronald V. Reverend Ronald V. Myers, MD, who was the founder of the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation.
Okay, I love it.
He asked me to just come in for a little bit because I was only out here for the summer. He asked me to help get the thing started. And I said, well, I'm only going to be here for a couple of months, but yeah, you can put my name on the paperwork. And somehow 16 years later, I'm still here.
Oh, I love it. Now, where did you grow up? Did you grow up in the South or something and you knew about Juneteenth?
I am only thing South about me is Southside Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Yeah. I got you. Now, when we talk about Juneteenth, we go back to 1865, right?
We can go back further, but we that's a good place for Juneteenth. I mean, you really want to probably start back at 1619 when the first Africans were brought into the English colonies, and they were not slaves. Please, everyone talks about the poor slaves that were brought in 1619. They were indentured servants.
Yeah, I heard that one. Yeah.
They were brought in, they had been taken off of a Portuguese ship. They were brought into the American colonies and traded for food and water. But 7 or 8 years later, they had their freedom.
Yeah.
We did not get slavery installed in the country until years later, when a Black man who had another Black man indentured service went to court, won the case, and that was the beginning of slavery in Virginia. I believe it was 1661 comes to mind. It was about 40 years after they arrived.
Oh, really?
Before we actually had slavery in this country.
Okay, so now that's pretty deep. And so slavery goes on, you know, let's say we go with the 1619 and then we go with the 40 years later, like what you just said. And so in 1865, and you say you can go even further before that, when they started allowing, and the Civil War began in, let's say, 1861, now the Black people are getting their freedom in them territories that the North is winning the troops. When you say Juneteenth, you correlate that with what?
We say all things Juneteenth because as you start studying, everything focuses back to that one central point. Back in June 19th, 1861 or 1862, there was paperwork processed and ratified in the Western areas, in the Western territories of this country that established the first claim to freedom for the enslaved. 1865, we had the soldiers in Galveston, but that tale is incorrect. You hear General Granger went to Texas to free the slaves. We were freed by this white man. Wrong. General Granger was, first of all, did not ride in on a horse. Galveston is an island. General Granger came in on one of several ships that arrived in Galveston June 18th, 1865. He was accompanied by 3,000 U.S. colored troop soldiers from Indiana, Illinois, Pennsylvania, New York. They went through the community and came back and said, they are still holding people here. It's been 2.5 years since the Emancipation Proclamation. You do something before we leave, or we'll do something. The people in Galveston has passed on the story of June 19th, 1865 as the day that the Black men came to town with guns and freed us. General Granger was on his way to Texas, to fight to the border to fight Maximilian, who was executed June 19th, 1867, by the way. So, and in between 1865, 1867, in June of 1866, we had the signing of the treaties by the so-called 5 civilized Indian native nations. They freed enslaved people. When it was over, they did not want to be bothered with them. The U.S. government did not want to be bothered with them. So those people who are known as the freed, F-R-E-E-D people, they went on to found and establish 88 towns in the Western Territory, most of which became known as Oklahoma. Oklahoma, one of those towns was Tulsa. So now we're connected to Galveston, Illinois, Indiana, Pennsylvania, New York, Oklahoma. And we know what happened in Tulsa. This is the 100-year anniversary of the Tulsa Massacre.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Let me make sure I got this right.
Okay.
When did the last troops of the Confederates sign and I don't know if it was General Lee or who it was. I'm not that good. When did he sign the paperwork to say that the Civil War is over and we lose?
I believe it was April of 1862. I believe it was.
No, that's got to be 65. I think the last battle. It was 65. So he signs the paperwork, but the word does not get to the people in Texas that the Civil War is over, and that's why there's Juneteenth. Is that correct?
That's why there's Juneteenth. It's a date that we chose to recognize. In 1994, there was a convention in New Orleans where a number of groups that recognized Juneteenth came together, and as a group, they selected that date as the date to recognize. It is not the last day of slavery, of enslavement. It is not the only place, because if you know, look at the Emancipation Proclamation, it only freed the people that were in the states of rebellion.
Right.
So so there are other things there. As I say, Illinois, 1841, Abraham Lincoln was an attorney. He was not president. He went to the Illinois Supreme Court to get the freedom of a woman named Nance Leggins Costley and her children. One of her children, as it turned out years later, was one of those soldiers, one of those colored troop soldiers that was in Galveston, Texas. Again, what goes around comes around. We all come back.
I got you. I love it. So are we saying that Galveston was the last place that actually freed the enslaved Black people?
No, as I said, a year later, the Indians were the Native Americans were still.
Okay, I got you there. Did the people in Galveston, did they know that they were supposed to free them and just said, "Hey, we too far away. Y'all can't come get to us to make us do it," or what?
We are vetting that information. From what my understanding, quite a few slave owners were sending their slaves there because they were a little bit unreachable. They were aware of it, though. They were aware that it was happening, but that was like their little storage closet that they were sending the people to. And, as I say, it was an island. So maybe they did think that the information got there a little bit slower. I don't know. but we will know because we do have an education group within the National Juneteenth organization, and they are looking, we're going through newspaper articles, we're going through military records. We eventually we will find out, somebody's going
I
to have a
got you.
statement that's going to tell us what was happening and why, how they were there.
How about this question? Do you all know how many enslaved Black people there were in Galveston? Any
Uh,
idea?
Off the top of my head, I do not. I know it was a large number, and I would have to refer back to my experts. But
Okay.
I have seen a number. Yes,
Okay.
they have an estimate.
What were they having the enslaved people do in Galveston? What was it, cotton or tobacco? What was the crop?
Uh, I would have to check on that also. To say we're mainly working at the people right now, but I believe the crops in Texas was probably the tobacco and the cotton. Those were most of the things that they were, I believe, they
Okay.
were really pushing. And again, you got to keep in mind too that you hear about the Underground Railroad that went to Canada. Let me just point out that there was a second Underground Railroad that you don't hear about that went across the South into Mexico, into California. And we have a group in Allen, Texas, who is currently researching the second Underground Railroad, the Southern Underground Railroad.
I got
So,
you.
so that's another piece of information that we're researching.
I love it. So now, word, as you said earlier, word gets to the people that y'all got to free them slaves. What, 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 what did it happen? Okay, so the word says you got to do it, and immediately the slaves were free, and now they're looking for what they're going to do with their life.
They're looking at what they got to do, but you also got to read that General Order number 3, because it tells you you're free, but you got to go back to the plantation. You're now employees. They changed the wording, so now you're an employee rather than a slave. You're to expect of wages, but you cannot stand on the corner here by the side of the fort and lollygag. You got to go somewhere else. You're not going to stand here. So it was mainly a way of wording things more so. I don't really think things really changed all that much at the beginning.
Okay, I can imagine. Was there is there one or two Black guys that's more noted to be the ones who got the word to the slaves in Galveston and or
Have not found them as yet. But as I say, they would the Black U.S. colored troop soldiers went through the town and gathered the information and brought it back. And again, Granger was not on a balcony. They took when and he did not sign U.S. The General Order number 3. He it had someone write it up. He authorized the distribution of it. They nailed it on the side of a building, but of course, the enslaved people could not read. So
yeah.
so everything you hear has a little bit of fallacy in it. It's a lot of myths. There's a lot of stories that we have to uncover and piece it back together. So we're going
I
through
got
the
you.
old news, as I say, the old newspapers, military records, pension records when they retired to figure out what troops were in what area at a particular time, how
I
many
got you.
fought.
Let me ask you this, and maybe this is a question. So they say y'all free, and it just do they hand them like a flyer? Like you said, you posted something on the wall, or the word just got out y'all free.
It was word of mouth. It was word of mouth, and and when they had found out that they had a chance to leave, they left. They vaulted.
Okay, let me ask you this: is there some noted big celebration when that word got out or some actions that the Blacks took, like let's burn the white man's house? Do you know of any of that kind of thing?
Have not heard anything about any firings. Of course, as they said, there were celebrations. They put on their best clothes and did a certain amount of celebrating, we're told. But as far as me being able to show you a story, I doubt that the newspapers are going to tell you that. So that's going to come as we research, I would think, into the private letters of some of the people in the Galveston area who will bring out their memorabilia that will talk about the celebrations that occurred. Uh, this is an ongoing project. It's taken us 156 years to get to this point, it may take us 156 years to get all the facts.
I got you. So now as we go down the line here, they got their freedom, and now who coined the term Juneteenth? Oh, it was that's just when it happened, and that was just a normal term.
Juneteenth is a combination of words, June and 19th. It's a portmanteau, I believe they call it. It was the two words were compressed into the one word and gained popularity. It was not an immediate thing. It's something that gained popularity over the years. From 1865 up until the early 1900s, Juneteenth was very popular. And then as the formerly enslaved people started traveling to the north, when they migrated, it kind of fell to the wayside. After 1920, 1915 or so, it started dropping off, and it stayed kind of quiet, small celebrations up until the 1990s.
I got you. So now what you all have, and what's happening now is if I'm, excuse me for using this term, I don't know if it's right, there's a resurgence of the excitement around Juneteenth now, it sounds like.
Most definitely. In 2019, I was able to document at one or more celebration in every state of the union. So I think the number had was somewhere between 350 and 400 that I was able to document just by going Google, picking up posters off of Facebook, getting emails from people who had listed on our website. We have a list, and if you go to our Facebook pages, Juneteenth Directors and Planners, Juneteenth Celebrations 2019, 2021, and go into the photo album, you will see pictures of the posters or the people who celebrate across the country. Not only do we celebrate Juneteenth in this country, there are celebrations in Mexico, Japan, Guam, and Ghana.
Woo, I love it.
So Juneteenth is actually international.
Now, when we talk about the celebrations, is there a special celebration that happens in Galveston?
Galveston, oh, they've got a new one starting for this year. They just came up. Sam Collins, who is out of Hitchcock, Texas, has been behind the project down there to have a mural posted on the wall in Galveston, Texas. And it is available. I don't have the website in front of me, but I can send it to you. But there is a mural telling the Juneteenth story on the side of the building. And you can go online and actually look at the mural and see this, and it's a live mural, so you see the street traffic. So yes, they have that special thing. We in Dallas, Fort Worth, we have Miss Opal. Miss Opal is 94 years old. She has been promoting Juneteenth all of her life. Her family home was burned down up in Texas. I believe she was 12 years old. So she has great amount of memory regarding Juneteenth. She'll tell you about her dressing up for the day and walking with her little red wagon to an area where they had an outdoor celebration. She is currently, last year, Miss Opal walked 2.5 miles in front of a caravan of cars in Fort Worth to promoting Juneteenth. February 25th, she was in DC at the press club. She made a presentation, which also introduced our national Miss Juneteenth, Sanaya Gay, and our president, Stephen Williams, and members of the Buffalo Soldiers were there along with a couple of other people. She made a presentation, which is available on YouTube. And from that point, we had legislators go to the House and the Senate, and they introduced the Juneteenth holiday bill in both houses, February 25th, 2021, which again is HR 1320 in the House and S475 in the Senate. We have been for years, for 28 years now, I believe, we have been going for a day of observance, which would recognize Juneteenth, but it would have put it on the calendar, would have made us equal to a flag day. We got requests last year from members of the elected officials to go for a national holiday. So this is when we did the national holiday bill last year, where we tried for a unanimous vote, and we came up with 99-1. We had a commitment for the entire 100, and at the last minute, Senator Johnson backed out of Wisconsin. So the bill failed before that one vote. But we had 99 votes for Juneteenth last year. This year we have resubmitted, reintroduced the legislation. We are asking for everyone to call again their congressmen to support and sponsor, their senators to co-sponsor. And we believe that we can get this bill through this year to recognize Juneteenth. And it will no longer be on the level of a of the Flag Day, which we were going after. It will now be on the level of the 4th of July. It would be a Title V national holiday, which will complete the cycle of freedom. 1776 freed the country from the British. Juneteenth freed all the people in the country.
I got you. I love it. What do you want people to get out of understanding Juneteenth? To just more recognize Black history and slavery?
Education. We need them to go back and talk to their elders and get the stories that they have withheld. We need to go back and correct the stories that we have been told by the other members of the country. And I'm into Juneteenth because I want my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren to grow up in a better world, a more knowledgeable world than I'm in right now. We've done the Juneteenth 101 last year, and it was put out there, and it has facts from 1862 to 1867. This year, our education team is working on a curriculum based upon that 101, which we will be making available across the country. We're going to enhance the Juneteenth 101 from last year with facts, figures, names of persons, and give them more information. Again, we have to write our own history because they're not.
I love it. So now, as we come to a close, are you asking all the people who are doing across the country Juneteenth celebrations to come up under your umbrella, to be recognized under your organization, to receive what literature you have, things of that sort?
They don't have to come up under our umbrella. I mean, we're family.
I got you.
So just the fact, if they take the time to study, we make everything, all of our events here in Las Vegas are free. And this year I'm doing about 12 events. We make everything we do free and available to the public. We ask for, we don't have memberships. We'll gladly accept donations and sponsorship. If anyone wants to become part of our organization, the national organization, again, I'm part of the national and the Nevada organization. And I try to keep the umbrellas separate so people understand that I am not Juneteenth. I'm not national. I mean, let's say I am vice chair. Nonprofits belong to no one. Nonprofits belong to the people.
I got you.
So, I'm just the representative doing the work of what has to be done to educate the children and their first teachers, which are their parents. We have a call every Saturday that we invite people to. There is no PIN number, but you can reach it from 720-453-2464.
I got you.
Come in through your computer, uberconference.com/Juneteenth. We welcome everyone to come in to learn what we're doing, to learn history, to share with us the programs that they're sharing with their communities, and give us new ideas. So we're working together. It's a family where you've got branches. Right here in Las Vegas, we have another group that does Juneteenth, Rainbow Dreams Academy. And we're at my reception this year, I'm going to honor Diane Pollard, who heads the other organization. Juneteenth, we work together.
I got you. I love
it. They don't have to be under our umbrella. We don't have to have our hands in their pocket, on their heads. We just got to be able to communicate with each other and keep things going.
I got you. I love it. Is there a question that I have not asked you, something that you want to say about this?
Very quickly, I'd like to talk about a couple of our other programs. We're working on the
Please.
Digital Divide, which is one of our initiatives. Digital Divide, we're trying to, we kind of search out where there's a need, where we don't have the communications we should have. Previously, we've been working with the rural areas, but it was discovered that there are urban areas that don't have the capacity for the children to have computer access, which is something we discovered with COVID. Uh, Steve Williams has been out here several times since April of last year, and he has built a proprietary program, and he is currently going through the rooftops installing radios and antennas to provide service to the community of West Las Vegas. Should be about 4,000 people in the initial
I got you.
in the initial push, but then we will go forward in tiers 1 and 2 to make it self-sustaining. Again, Wi-Fi signal free of charge to the members of the community, where we just need sponsorship to keep it going until we can make it self-sustainable by picking up commercial customers. We also have our Miss National Juneteenth educational pageant. We have programs. So we have a number of the states do have Miss Juneteenth for their state, and because of that, we're gathering all of our queens, and we're taking them to Tulsa, Oklahoma, in October 15, 16, 17 for our second national pageant or program. So we're gonna crown our second national Miss Juneteenth at that time. We are going to Tulsa in October also for our annual meeting, which is our 4th annual meeting, and we will plan next year. And we're going to recognize the Tulsa Massacre. Next year in 2022, we will be going to Galveston, Texas. 2023, we're going to New Orleans.
I got you. I love it.
We've got a plan.
Is there some way, again, if you don't mind, I ask you, maybe you've answered this, that people can, again, they can go to your website and donate to you all. They can start their own Juneteenth activity, and you'll give them some template to work from and that kind of thing, so that it can explode even further.
Yes, sir. Again, as I said, we've got the Juneteenth 101. Our websites are www.njof.org. My website here in Las Vegas is www.juneteenthnevada.org. We have PayPal accounts that I do not have in front of me, but again, they would be available. You can reach me at 888-509-NJOF, which is 6563. My extension is 701. My name is Deborah Evans, and they call me Dee. And I'm happy to talk to anyone, anytime. My books are open, my mouth is open. And my stepfather taught me, you've got 2 ears, 1 mouth. You listen, you learn, you pass it on.
I love it. Everybody, this is what we do at Strong Inspirations. I'm telling you, on this channel, I find these people, and we need to support the efforts. We need to support the cause. And more people need to have Juneteenth activities, big or small, in their town. You also mentioned that there's a petition. Isn't there a petition?
Petition is at Juneteenth, www.juneteenth.us.
Okay.
And that will take you to a site on change.org. And at that time, you can sign. We ask you to pass it on. I believe there's a USB, QR code that we can make available to you to put on your website.
Right.
Otherwise, we ask everyone to just pass the website on for the signature. We have already delivered 1.5 million signatures to the Senate last September. We're working on a second 1.5 million signatures at this time.
I guess my last question, if maybe you answered this, what is the status? To get this national holiday, you need more signatures. You just needed to go in front of them for them to vote on it.
Co-sponsors. We need co-sponsors from the elected members in the House and the Senate. There are 435 members of the House, so I believe we need to get at least a simple majority. So we need to get it up to at least 220 or so co-sponsors on the House side, And the Senate, we've got there's 100 names over there, of course. So we need to, we need to get probably 51 or more on that side. We're pretty decent since it's a smaller number to reach that, but we really need help for people to call their senators and their congressional offices, priority on the Congress, to call their local and their Washington offices to tell them we want them to support HR 1320 for the establishment of Juneteenth National Day as a federal Title V holiday.
All right, we're gonna put we're gonna put all this in the description, so you know how to act on it, and easy to read, so on and so forth. As you've heard us say this, my brothers and sisters, again, this is what we do with Strong Inspirations.
Can I say one more thing?
I'm sorry?
Can I say one more thing?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm talking so fast, I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to make sure that they acknowledge Reverend Ronald V. Myers Sr., MD. He was a medical missionary. He was the founder of National Juneteenth Observance Foundation. He was another Chicagoan. There's a lot of us that come out of Chicago. He was a Chicagoan that got his education in Milwaukee. He went south and established a number of clinics in Mississippi. He never left until he passed away September 7th, 2018. But he traveled the country. He was a medical missionary. He was a musician. He performed for Juneteenth. He spoke for Juneteenth. He advocated in Washington for Juneteenth. And before he died, he named Steve Williams as the president. He made a number of phone calls to all the state directors, and we have state directors in all states. He introduced Steve to them as the person he wanted to succeed him. Right. Steve and I both worked with the organization for nearly 20 years. And I worked with Doc from 2005 when I came to Las Vegas until his death. Steve has been working with him. And we are asking for all the assistance we can get. We ask for the support. We want to thank everyone for the support that they have given us to keep Doc's dreams alive. And we do have a 12-point basis of direction that we have followed through on everything that we wanted to do from the things that we had discussed with Doc in his last 6 or 8 months.
I got you. I love it. Everybody, Strong Inspirations. Yes. We give it to you as best I can. I ask a couple questions. I let them do the talking. So let's go ahead. All this information is going to be in the description, but what you've heard, go just Google Juneteenth National Organization. It'll all pop up. Send them some money. Tell people about the celebrations that are in your town. It's on the website. Support those groups that are doing this, that's keeping that Black history alive. And then let's make sure that our congressmen and senators vote in the effort of making it a national holiday. I agree that it should be. And we're going to make sure that it happens in our lifetime. And so to you, my sister, I say this with all sincerity. I want you to stay strong, stay safe, stay on your grind. I love what you're doing, doing this thing and put your life to make sure that it's better for us in the future and keeping this holiday alive. And so thank you so very much, everybody. We out. Bye-bye.